Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Rogue Trader with me, Bring It On. Let's head to Dark Otis and exonerate the Versarians. If they're innocent. If they're not, then we'll bring the hammer down. Either the Hammer of Justice or my Thunder Hammer. Lord Captain, we have visitors on the bridge seeking an audience. Your presence is required. Oh. They were seeking an audience? Looks like they brought the audience to me. The High Factotum bows low to you. Your Lordship, if I may beg for a minute of your precious attention. I am elated to notify you that a delegation of High Ecclesiarchs of the Epitaph Storm has arrived at your vessel. The holiest of his servants have come to proclaim their veneration before the rogue trader, faithful to his word and fearful of his wrath. Long may the Von Valancius name be praised in the annals of the Imperium. May the God Emperor protect this dynasty from peril and adversity. Noble Donald Von Valancius, word of your righteousness and diligence in serving him has spread to the farmost corners of the Coronis expanse. It would be folly to let a paragon such as you travel among the stars without firm spiritual support. We're here to correct this egregious oversight. From this day forth, the ship will be consecrated daily and nightly by the servants of the Ecclesiarchy, given to you for toils eternal, so that his light in these halls may never fade. The Ecclesiarchy grants you a holy relic, a banner of Saint Cognatius obtained in the conquest of the Expanse. May this gift instill trepidation and reverence in the hearts of your subjects, and the altar created to bear it become a place of prayer for your senior officers. Does your lordship wish to witness the installation of the altar and banner? You'd be the first to kneel before the relic and set the example of piety for the crew. It would be a great honor. Hush, quiet. Don't talk about it like that, here of all places. Oh, that's the officers. Behind the glass of the altar lies the banner of St. Cognatius, a relic left behind by one of the Imperium's greatest and most mysterious missionaries, who converted more than one world to the righteous faith. Alright, turn your thoughts to the God Emperor. Well, it's a little in the way. Jai, how do you feel about it?
You are spoiling me with the splendor of... Oh.
A quote from the sacred text catches your eye. Ruthlessness is the kindness of the wise. Well, now we can continue our journey. And do some more projects. Let's do missionaries on Falstone. The Cronus Expanse is in need of stalwart defenders, and Falstone can help by sending its children to every dark corner of the sector. We get +3 complacency and +3 security, at the cost of 3 provisions, 6 people, and 3 weapons. Flight Master of Flame would also increase the damage done by flamers, not just melted plasma weapons. Especially since it makes it sound like they're going to burn down the forest on Yanis to create room for more facilities. I don't think they'd use melted plasma weapons. Maybe melted charges if there's large enough trees in the way. Doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't need to prioritize this either since we don't have Pascal in the party. Abelard has a Melta equipped, but he rarely uses it. Let's grab the profit factor. So payment and organs. A large increase in tithes may be supplemented by a decree that addresses the current shortfalls in other ways. We get +3 profit factor, -3 complacency, +3 efficiency at the cost of 4 people. Alright, mechanical trade. I was going to prioritize this regardless. There's an opportunity to provide the Imperial Navy with tech priests in exchange for precious components and spare parts. You get Memory of the Daring. Provides 125 points of protection for each sector. This amount is doubled against enemy kinetic attacks. 6,000 reputation with the Imperial Navy, and 12 mechanisms at the cost of 6 people and 4 weapons. It does block dark experiments. Yeah, I feel like this is most in line with my character, plus it's harder to get reputation with the Imperial Navy. So I think it's also the most optimal choice. Also requires reputation with the Imperial Navy to do. Oh, we don't actually block this one, it's just Dark Experiments. Well, that's fine. Alright, Dargonus. Let's do Call to Arms. It is time for the Dargonus nobility to forget their feuds and take up arms in defense of their native world. We get +3 security for all colonies, 9 people, at the cost of 6 weapons. And Captive Xenos, which will help us fund at least this project. Acquiring captives from the enemies of humanity for use in forced labor is a possible way to replenish the workforce. -3 profit factor, -5 security, but 18 people. A Lord Captain, an urgent message. Our enforcers have arrested a dangerous saboteur who attempted to gain entry onto the bridge. This incident may be worthy of your attention. You see, both the saboteur and the circumstances of his capture are rather strange. You cannot tell if Vigdis sounds baffled or worried. I think it'd be reasonable for Magos Pascal to take a look at him as well. What is so unusual about the saboteur and the way he was captured? The thing is, Lord Captain, the saboteur is most definitely a tech priest. He found his way aboard the ship and penetrated all our security systems with staggering ease. Both his ability to communicate with machine spirits and the combat potential of his augmentations are extraordinary. Nevertheless, the enforcers managed to capture him. So I wonder if it's another tech priest that shares the same identification code as Pascal. That's how he was able to get on board. During the arrest, the intruder, he offered no resistance at all. Instead, he asked for an audience with the Great Machine Spirit. When he realized that the enforcers had no idea what he was talking about, he asked to meet with you. I considered it necessary to apprise you of the situation. This infiltration of a rogue trader ship operated by authorized engineers casts doubts on my tech comrade's stability. He is indeed my tech comrade, that is. Regardless, I request permission to communicate with the captive. Very well, I'll speak to him. Understood, Lord Captain. The saboteur will be brought to you. The group of servitors, whose movements are suspiciously well synchronized, stares at the towering prisoner. You do not need to hear them speak to recognize Nomos, for I seen fit to attend the interrogation. The captured man, if he can be called that, looks positively gigantic next to the enforcers at his side. Deadly-looking metal gleams dimly beneath his faded crimson robes. His hands are folded obediently, and his mechadendrites are perfectly still. I greet the master of this vessel cathedral, and offer my humble apologies for this unbidden intrusion. My apologies to you as well, brother. The interloper inclines his head in the direction of the frowning Pascal. His name is Asclepius. Then the prisoner turns slightly and looks straight at Nomos' observing servitors. And of course, I must beg forgiveness from you, Great Spirit. It was not my intent to desecrate your temple. I honor the fraternity of the Omnissiah's servants. It pains me to see you trespassing on board like a thief, instead of arriving as a guest. The giant's shoulders shift slightly. For that, I apologize as well. I did not expect to find understanding amid the suffocating ignorance that abounds within the laity, and even many of my brethren. For this reason, I chose to carry out my mission in secret, and without seeking your permission. My name, if it matters, is Asclepius. Formerly a computator general of the Cognizance Fleet, now a Liber Recluse with the status of Maletech. Maletechs are exiles whose ideas have not crossed the line of heresy yet, have come close to it. They are removed from the fleet structure to give them a chance to see the folly of their ways, and prevent sedition from spreading. Pascal's voice sounds unusually alarmed. All of that is trivial. My past is nothing but a set of archived data. My lost status is a part replacement string in the long chronicle of the Cognizance Fleet. I come not as the priesthood's messenger, but as a faithful disciple of the most holy Amarnat. I had to say that in an entire chapter. Amarnat. Yeah, that's the correct emphasis. My brother once served as the Engineer Prime on this ship. Asclepius gestures around him reverently. He was an adherent of the school of discontinuing the cycle, as am I. It has spread that far. It is difficult to discern Pascal's emotions from his tone. I know that my brother perished, but before he did, he sent me a message that told of a journey embarked upon by Theodora von Valancius. A journey through a dimensional gate, an artifact more ancient than humanity itself, and toward worlds unknown. The blessed Amarnat was with her. There, upon those dark worlds, he witnessed a great miracle, the birth of a machine spirit of incalculable might. My brother believed that this spirit then fell aslumber within this ship, like a child in a cradle, not responding to lowly pleas. That was the purpose of my pilgrimage, to reach this ship where my brother died, the ship upon whose decks the blessed Amarnat had walked, and prostrate myself before the Great Spirit. Amarnat traveled on this ship. Yes, he did. My brother's words on this were clear. Years ago, Amarnat was part of Rogue Trader Theodora's inner circle, before their ways parted. Tell me more about Theodora's journey. My knowledge of it is scarce. My brother suspected that his memory, along with the memory of all who might have known the details, had been purposely modified. He saw it as a sign that the journey had revealed a great truth, and there are those who do not wish to see that truth brought to light. All that he conveyed to me was that Theodora had reached worlds unlike any the people of the Cronus Expanse had ever seen. There, she unearthed a great treasure of technology, one that Amernat had the privilege of experiencing. What do you know about this great spirit? It is a great miracle. The Omnissiah's breath meant to help us discontinue the cycle. It is born of the treasure that Amernat and Theodora discovered upon the Dark Worlds. Yet even a being so glorious needs attendants and guides. And as long as the Cognizance fleet is racked by schism, my brothers and sisters suffer defeats without end, there is no one to aid the spirit. That is why I came here. Does the name Nomos mean anything to you? Nothing. He has not come to know us yet. He will if you let him, Donald. We know. We sense that his words are about us. But the story he has told is our story. You are strong, yet you let yourself be caught. I took a vow that I would never inflict physical harm upon laypeople. The Omnissiah grants us the power of the true flesh for a purpose other than damaging the frail and blind creatures that are all who have not yet tasted his knowledge. I have made my decision regarding your fate. Whatever it is, I will accept it. As will I. Yet I plead that my brother be shown leniency. His story initializes thought. We ask you to keep him for us. Nomos' servitors speak up suddenly, in the faintest of whispers. He sticks around this way regardless. I find you guilty of offenses against the Cult Mechanicus and House Von Valancius. Your crimes warrant punishment more severe than death. You will atone by serving me and therefore the Imperium. I could not ask for more. All I wish is to remain in these halls and observe in reverence the Great Spirit's deeds. Let the cycle be discontinued. Nomos' servitors turn their heads to you and nod all at once what can be interpreted as an expression of gratitude. The massive figure of the Malatech Asclepius is frozen before the cogitator in a praying pose. Without raising his head, he addresses you. I salute the ruler of this ship. I see you found your great spirit, Asclepius. I have found a miracle, and the end of my worldly road. I've never seen and never will see anything more meaningful than the spirit of Nomos. In the face of its multitude, we're all nothing but the fixed values of an erroneous function. You read the databank recovered from Theodora's cache, and then you said, the incident marked the beginning of Nomos. What did you mean by that? Yes, Nomos, remember. You brought us data sustenance, and it contained a name, Epitaph. We recognized it. No, not like that. And that name we recognized the place where Nomos originate. Nomos suddenly falls silent. Symbols race chaotically across the screens of the huge cogitator. You hear an almost human groan come from the depths of the machine. Nomos understand, realize, comprehend themselves. For a moment there is silence, broken only by the moans of the huge machine, and then the cyber gargoyle begins to speak, and with it, the other servitors chosen by Nomos. We've analyzed the data with which you sated us. We have recreated the sequence of events. First, there was Epitaph. It is a world, but it is merely a case, a container, for something we cannot name and cannot understand. Theodora and this ship have been to that place. Something was lifted up from the world. A gift. A trusted priest in Crimson, one who identified himself as Amernat, comprehended the gift raised from Epitaph, and from it, he created what the databanks list as a tech blight. But that is not how Nomos came into being. We were not invented. We were not freed. We came into being by accident. The chorus of servitors sounds genuinely confused, almost desperate. Theodora's ambition, the myriad mechanisms of the huge ship, Amernat's mind, the inquisitive attempts to comprehend and extract, the dormant blight, the dormant epitaph, what lies hidden in its depths, and between it all, we slipped in, connected, and emerged like an electrical discharge between the poles. Accident, incident. That is what we are. We have no purpose, no history. Nomos just are. Do you know where this epitaph is? That data is gone, deleted, erased, deliberately, but we cannot trace who did it or why. A tech blight. A gift, but a terrible one. You would call it a weapon. Theodora coveted it. She needed it desperately, but we do not know why. How is Amernat involved in this? He desired knowledge. Theodora allowed him to explore the gifts of Epitaph, slaking his thirst. But we know it did not bring him happiness. In the footprints of his slaked thirst, fear followed. The blessed Amernat was involved in the birth of this spirit named Nomos. I do not believe for a moment that he could have been frightened by this miracle. It was not us he feared. He did not know us, but only suspected. His mental processes were occupied by the tech blight. That was what he feared. He wanted protection from it. The ship was an Epitaph. Amernat traveled aboard it, investigating the tech blight, and Nomos was born as a result of an incident. So how was it possible that no one in the crew knew the whole truth? The truth was hidden, deliberately. The officers' memories were stolen. All the cogitators' memory banks were wiped. It took you feeding us the truth bit by bit for us to piece it together and understand. Who has the resources, the knowledge, and the power to accomplish such a feat? It would have been beyond the capabilities of the blessed Amernat himself, and he would never destroy knowledge. This story disturbs me. It sounds like an echo of the sacrilege whose name is the preservation of ignorance. The spirit of Nomos must be protected from the encroachments of that power and try to conceal the truth of its birth. Oh, sorry, that tried to conceal. Enough about the past. Let us talk about the future. You do, in fact, have a purpose, Nomos. Then tell us, what is our purpose? To serve the light and truth and greatness that is the Imperium. To serve the light. To serve the Imperium. The chorus of servitors dutifully repeats your words, but seemingly without understanding them. Nomos is preoccupied. Huge cogitator continues to sing its creaking song, running unknown calculations. Blessed be this spirit. A great path and great future lie before it. We must assist it on its way.
The only sign of me.
It does do a lot of damage. Oh, that's right, because it's two-handed. We can recover that item from the cargo. I think we have to do it from here. Say I go here. super close. That's why it does so much damage. I forgot it was a two-handed weapon. Could give it to my main character. Do I have... Yeah, I mean, I use trusty weapons, so I don't think I'm going to swap out for it. Could potentially, I almost said, try to say possibly, potentially at the same time. Possibly, give it to Abelard. It is an upgrade. He currently... It's just a heavy greatsword. I think he has the power weapon talent, doesn't he? I mean, talents, it's hard to remember what I gave to everybody. Oh, maybe I never gave it to him. I thought I'd possibly give him a different weapon as we went on. It's not all two-handed weapons or power weapons. Oh, cool. He got a nice little upgrade. Plus, that was a generic greatsword he had equipped. We found those a dime a dozen in Kimura. Alright, more projects to knock out. We can do Holy Ammunition or Crucible. Seems like a good idea. Now, we only have 2 slots left. Let's do Crucible. After millennia of lying under the monastery, the launch of St. Cognatius' Titanic machine nears. So player gets the Holy Man feature, grants 10% damage for 2 turns, and 20 temporary wounds when the character uses their origin ability. We get +2 profit factor, 9 provisions, +4 complacency, at the cost of 3 promethium, 3 mechanisms, 2 chemicals, and 2 phlogiston, or phlogiston. Pretty sure it's phlogiston. Next up. I mean, this is good, especially if we bring Pascal along. Let's do Great Fire. A territory for new agri complexes can be gained in only one way, the Way of Fire. Then we'll get the Master of Flame feature. All allies deal +10% damage with the Melta and Plasma weapons. 9 provisions at the cost of 3 promethium and 3 chemicals. Alright, so we do Moving World, Orbital Shipyard, or Archive of the Expanse. Again, I think this is the most important one. It's really hard to come by. That seems pretty good. Let's do the Orbital Shipyard. An Orbital Shipyard will provide the Imperium's massive vessels with proper repair and produce new void ships. We get +5 profit factor and 5,000 reputation with the Imperial Navy. Once again, I think... Oh. I think this is the way to go. So, Militia Navy. The great freedom accorded by the Imperial Navy will allow the mustering of an impressive independent squadron, not classified as pirates. So we get the Triumph over the Expanse feature. All the inhabitants of the Expanse place their trust in the rogue trader during their hour of need. The flagship restores 33% to the cooldown of ultimate abilities at the end of space combat. Red warp routes always become orange. We get 6,000 reputation with the Imperial Navy and +2 security for all colonies. Requirements: so much reputation with the Imperial Navy, costs 4 Promethium, 6 people, and 4 weapons. Doesn't block out the other projects. I don't think that we have... I'm gonna grab this. Alright, we still have 2 spots. So, can we do that last project once these are filled up? So we have these rank 5 projects, which we can only do 1 of them. But the generic projects are going to block off last project slots. I don't know. Not sure how that's going to play out. I think the other major projects took up a slot. Like, so we have 3 rank 4 projects, and we have 3 slots left. Alright, let's do the Penal Battalion. An entire planetary regiment of martyr guardsmen. A gift from the Rogue Trader to the Cronus Expanse in its darkest hour. We get the Diligent Cannoneers feature. Plus 10% to critical hit chance with macro cannons. And plus 3 security for all colonies. Then we head to Dargonis. Oh, but then we get a new item for our... Yeah, we got the Memory of the Daring. 5 more points of protection for each sector, and it's doubled against kinetic attacks. Alright, before we land on Dargonis, in case it starts a scene as soon as we land, I'm going to wrap up the episode here, and next time we'll go to Dargonis and work on exonerating or condemning the Versarians, depending on what the truth is. Also, I've got a bone to pick with Achilles. If he's still standing there, there's going to be hell to pay. Whatever the Drukhari did to turn him against us will pale in comparison. So we have a full-on dogmatic bridge now. It's pretty cool. I like the lighting. Alright, well I'm going to call it here for now. Next time, to Dargonis. But to combine the words once again. A lot of stumbling. And we're still missing a couple follow-up quests, right? I'm sure we'll get more companion quests as we travel. Either way, for now, thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.